Welcome to the Tale of Slate. Today we are talking about TV shows that you and us should be watching. I am here with John Mokedanz from Everything Pop Culture and Michael Oakes. And let's start with the shows that you guys think we should be watching. I know there's some that we all watch and there's some that some of us don't watch. So, Michael, let's start with you. Number one show people should be watching.
I'll throw the obvious one out there, Game of Thrones. First episode's already out there. I've seen it. It was freaking fantastic. Loved the ending. Surprise. Not going to spoil anything. Now, I've read every single one of the books. I knew what was going to happen all the way up to the last season.
Yeah, so now you're in the same boat as all of us who haven't read the books.
No, actually I'm not.
Well, there's a few things you know.
Yes, there's a few things to know. Okay, here's where I'm really excited. The first episode and the second episode that I've seen so far are going to be very different. Like they're the next continuation from the book. Now, saying that, I have read the last book and I know for a fact that they have not shown a decent chunk of what was in the book. Like they've skipped over it entirely. Now, albeit those are because those are completely different storylines and they most likely are saving them for this season. But I suspect what they're going to be doing is continuing some while going back and doing others.
Probably, yeah.
Because there's a few disconnected storylines that they didn't touch on, which are huge. I'm talking like game-breaking huge. You're going to love them. Some people are coming back or a bunch of other stuff, and you're going to see some people fall off, which is going to be exciting. I really want to see those happen, and I want to see where the rest of the Jon Snow comes in, because I know a lot of different theories about that stuff and how it might be either the Red Woman bringing him back. Now, seeing the ending of the first episode, I think she might actually give her life to return him back. Another theory might be that he's a Targaryen, so burning him, which is what they've been doing.
Yes, I've heard that as well, yeah.
Might be the thing to bring him back.
So we will have an episode talking about Game of Thrones Season 6 coming up. We want to do sort of the first 3 episodes. We'll do them in batches of 3 episodes, so we'll have some. But yeah, the reason people should be watching this show is it is so good, so dense, so many cool characters, and the acting and production is just fantastic. It's amazing.
Nothing sacred with it either. It's
That's
like
right.
Deadpool.
They'll kill people off that you love and some that you hate. But yeah, it's great. John, what do you got? What should we be watching?
Well, you should be watching The Walking Dead.
Yes.
Ben,
I am not. Okay. Can I
Okay.
I want to explain why I'm not watching The Walking
Why
Dead.
aren't you watching The Walking Dead?
When Walking Dead premiered, there was another show on at the same time. Another channel was showing Dead Set. It was 5 episodes. They showed them all that night, but of course I missed the first episode of Walking Dead. Dead Set was pretty cool. Zombie outbreak, and the only people that didn't know about it were the people in the Big Brother house. It was cool. Anyways, Walking Dead, yes. Tell me why I should be watching it.
Well, first of all, I was late to The Walking Dead. But I got sick one time, and I downed some NyQuil, and I laid on the couch, and I watched the entire first season. And if you're sick, it was awesome.
What about when you're not sick?
No, but I mean, with the NyQuil, you actually wanted to stay awake to watch, to find out what was happening. And it just kept going and going and going, no, don't stop. And it ended. And fortunately for me, they were starting the second season, and next Sunday it was coming out.
Awesome.
My wife and I watch it, again, not for kids. And I'm surprised how many kids watch this show. Like, I don't know. But it's compelling. And, you're talking about Game of Thrones, and I haven't watched it. I have to. But
You really do.
these 2 shows they have no technology in them. Like, and, nobody's picking up a cell phone to solve a problem. It's survival.
Yeah.
And it's kill or be killed. And it's very, that's what I like about The Walking Dead. It's the survival aspects of it.
That's cool. My next show is Orphan Black. You haven't really watched Orphan Black, have you?
I watched the first episode.
Okay, and you?
I was going to look at it, but I haven't seen a single episode
Oh
yet.
my gosh.
I've heard of it, and I've heard it's kind of good. But
Orphan Black is amazing. for a number of reasons. One is the actress. Tatiana Maslany is incredible. She plays, I don't even know how many clones she's playing right now. It's about 5, 6, or 7. She's probably played in total maybe 10 different clones. And you forget that it's the same actress. There's the regular clone characters, and you look at them as characters. You just need to see her or see how she walks, and you know which character it is. She is absolutely amazing in it. So even if you didn't like the story, watching it just for that would be worth it. The storylines have also been amazingly compelling. I was worried after season 1, because it's such a unique idea, that how are they going to keep this going for season 2? It's going to get hokey. Season 2 was great, and I'm thinking, okay, how are they going to make season 3 keep going? Because they added some other clones, some male clones. And this could get really stupid, but it didn't. It kept going. And you're thinking, how the heck is season 4 going to be as good? And it is just as intriguing. We've had 2 episodes so far, and it's been amazing. So Orphan Black, you got to watch it.
Oh yeah, one thing. Don't watch Fear the Walking Dead, because it falls completely on its face. And
Really? I mean, like, I kind of liked it more than the actual Walking Dead.
Oh man.
I'm gonna be completely honest. I mean, I watched
Do you have, like, how can you empathize with any of those characters?
Oh, but I mean,
they're terrible.
Okay, so watching The Walking Dead, I was the complete opposite of you. I was there from the very beginning, and I watched the first few seasons as it came out. I really liked the show, and at the very beginning, I was really sympathetic for a few of them, and then they started to repeat things a lot.
Oh yeah.
So then I started not being sympathetic towards them, and I started watching Fear the Walking Dead, and it seemed like, yes, you're right, you can't really sympathize with them, but it's a different situation. And I liked the fact that they went to different people, because that's what keeps the show fresh, is different situations rather than just the same old.
They're on a boat.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not my cup of tea. You know, if you like it, that's great. I mean,
I haven't watched it before, like after the first few episodes, but I did like, and I think I might revisit it. Now, going back to your Orphan Black, actually, speaking of actresses or actors in my case, that you like watching for the actor, the second TV show that I would love to like everybody should be watching, I think, is House of Cards. Now, this TV show, I've realized the more I talk about it, the less people seem to know about it. Because I've talked to a few of my friends, and none of them know, they've never seen it at all. They think it's one of those, like, I think Orphan Black is a great show. I've never seen it before, but I've heard it's great. Yep. Same thing for this House of Cards. People never have seen it, but they think it's great. I love Kevin Spacey as an actor. He's amazing. The second I saw him singing, Across the Sea in that one movie, I loved it. So I've been trying to watch all his movies ever since, and this is just one of those times where he makes the best villain/hero, because he's neither the villain nor the hero. He's trying to go towards presidency and getting like the throne, and like the way he does it is pretty under the table, but he's doing it for the better of the entire country. I love it. And there's only supposed to be 4 seasons, because it's supposed to be literally his it's based on an old British thing about prime ministers, so it's already been set in stone as far as what's going to happen. So it's supposed to be like his kind of like setting his power up in the first season. The second season is his rise to power. The third season is his claim to the throne, which is in this case presidency. And then the fourth season, which, I mean, if you think about how these shows go, this is going to be the downfall.
Cool.
Right. So I can't wait for this last season to come out. It's going to be the end of the story, and we're going to see how all of his lies that have been perfectly crafted and all of his under the table, like, it starts to unravel.
Cool.
And I cannot wait for it to fall on him.
You know, there is something to be said about having a series with a defined length of seasons, because you can then wrap up your story nicely and not have to always leave it open, so you can do another season.
Absolutely.
So it's a good idea.
A lot of TV shows fall prey to that.
Yeah, and then they just sort of wither away because they run out of good ideas, and they sort of aren't that great at the end. Yeah.
I remember watching Heroes a really long time ago. That show that was about like the superheroes. They're starting to get powers, and just the first few seasons was absolutely amazing. Like, they had Sylar, who was literally chopping people's heads off to get out their brains to get more powers, and then it slowly started becoming like the really crappy show.
Speaking of superhero shows, one show that I'm watching that I think everybody should watch is Supergirl. I'm really enjoying Supergirl. I mean, I'm picky when it comes to superhero movies. I want them to be more on the realistic side. When they go sort of more comic booky, I don't like them as much. However, that doesn't seem to bother me when it's a TV show. It seems to strike the right tone of being comic booky and being more down to earth. So it's quite good, and they've kept my attention the whole season, and I'm looking forward to the next season. It's been quite good.
I like the way you put that. I think it might also be because like the reason it might hit better as a TV show is because it's episodic the same way that comic books are.
Yeah.
When you read a comic book, it's like a little volume, right? You're not reading a whole long story.
I mean, they have had a crossover with The Flash from the Flash TV show. Mm-hmm. So I haven't actually watched The Flash, but if it's a similar kind of tone, it might be kind of good. It does fall victim to some of the things that happens when you have more than one superhero in a universe that you've created. Superman exists, obviously, in this. Mm-hmm. And there's some Earth-threatening events that she's taking care of and having trouble taking care of, and Superman doesn't come and help because she sort of wants to be her own person and continue that way. So that sort of makes you go, okay, well, this is in real life. If there was a Superman, he would come and help out. But other than that, it's actually quite good. Mm-hmm. So, John, what else you got for us?
Well, I don't have a chance to watch a lot of television, I have to be honest, and I'm very selective of what I watch. But I am a huge science fiction fan. And a show came out last year called The Expanse, and it slowly pulled me in, and it's got a little bit of political undertones. You've got Earth and Mars and these people called the Belters, and they mine the asteroid belt. And it's the story about a daughter of a politician that goes missing on a ship. And this police officer is tasked to find what happened to her, whereas this other ship that's towing an asteroid actually encounters her ship that she was on. But as they go to investigate that ship, their main ship is destroyed by this gunship. So it's very interesting. There's a lot of political intrigue because everything's on the cusp of war. But I found it, I think it was a short season. I think they only did 6 or 8 episodes. But I found the concept really...
Is it coming back?
It is coming back.
Okay,
and I enjoyed it.
Cool. Mike, what else
Awesome.
you got?
I'm going to mention a TV show that you guys have probably never heard. It's an animated show. It's called Rick and Morty. Now, this show is actually pretty interesting. I really like it. I think it's probably I want to say it's like I want to see it more than Game of Thrones, but they're kind of like on the same kind of terms, but just different genres altogether.
Okay, I was going to say,
So Rick and Morty is very, imagine if you took the Back to the Future cast. So Doc Brown and Marty, essentially. And you made Doc Brown into a gassy alcoholic, and you turn Marty into a young prepubescent teenager. That would be basically how you describe this. But it's completely wacky adventures and everything like that, but it's got a very, very serious, relatable undertone to it. So the grandfather is incredibly intelligent. So you often deal with space flight, you deal with different dimensions, you deal with a bunch of different goofy sci-fi stuff all the time, and that's their day-to-day episodes. But you always have a small undertone of like some depressed topic at the end of the episode. So while it is animated, it is incredibly heart-wrenching sometimes. The grandfather is often shown as being clinically hidden depressed. Like he's not actually showing it, but he has like, he shows it. Some people reveal it a few times. Like he's got this saying, which is wubba lubba dub dub, which at some point somebody translated in some other language saying, I'm in pain, help me out. But saying all this, I really can't wait because they've done a lot of good things for the show. I can't do it justice by talking about it at all. It's just one of those things you got to check out.
Cool.
So,
there's one show I've been watching. I can't say there's anything spectacular about it, but I've just really enjoyed it, and that's Lucifer. The devil decides he's had enough of hell. He comes up to live in LA, he runs a nightclub, and he ends up meeting up with this woman who's a homicide detective and sort of helping her solve crimes. So it's kind of a procedural cop show, but with Lucifer, the real devil, helping her out. And he runs the bar. His assistant there is Maze. She's a demon. I mean, she doesn't look like a demon. She's and then one of his brothers, one of the archangels, is coming back, trying to convince him to go back to doing his job, get back to hell and do your job, kind of thing. And it's actually quite interesting. They've gone through the arc of him. He's immortal, but suddenly he appeared to be mortal, and we didn't know why. It turns out it's something to do with hanging around the woman who's a cop. Something about her being around him has made him mortal. So he's immortal when he's not around her, immortal when he's near her, and it's quite good. I'd recommend Lucifer.
It seems like an interesting concept. I've always been intrigued by the whole heaven and hell thing,
Yeah, well, I mean, it's kind of cool. It makes you think about Lucifer because my thought is always, okay, if he's truly evil and against God, then he would be wanting to get as many souls down there as he can, and God would be saying, no, I want to get those guys up to heaven. Whereas it seems to be a place you go to be punished, which means God is deciding who goes down there.
Yeah,
which means that the devil must be on his payroll.
I think that it's always been a perverse version where they feel like where it's a war. Like they always do the heaven and hell against each other.
How would it be a pun? Like he wouldn't. Yeah. So anyway, this is obviously he's a fallen angel, one of God's kids, and his job is to run hell, but he's sick of it. He doesn't want to be down there anymore. So it's kind of cool.
I like that, and I like the fact that they're going back a little bit as far as Lucifer goes, because he never really actually was technically evil. It was more like giving into temptation and such, taking his own pleasures and stuff. So if they're kind of spinning it that way, I like it.
Yeah,
I think I might take that up.
Yeah, it's really good. What else you got?
So I've got another one. It's a little tiny show called Adventure Time. This is kind of like for both kids and adults together. This is a little animated show that a few of my favorite voice actors do, and it's about a little kid who has like a dog companion, but the dog can talk. Jake, yes, thank you. He's a stretchy dog. He can do a bunch of stuff. It's kind of like this. I know I'm repeating myself at this point, but it's a show that has got a very cartoony feel to it. But it's got a sort of sad undertone to a few of the things. Like it's completely based like there's it's a candy kingdom. Like the whole thing is goofy and stuff like that. But like you see at some point, like one of the episodes, it reveals that like the entire world was like decimated by war, and the reason there's Candy Kingdom now is because like it was like the human world had like basically died. He's the last human. And it was chemical warfare, and basically the only life that was left, aside from this little kid, was like developing from like the remains of like radiation going into different things and such. So it was incredibly interesting to see, and I really like the way that they try to develop the show, because they got a very big main concept as to how they want to target people. Obviously, the goofy aspect targets kids, but the way that they actually hook adults as well is they try to do nostalgia, and the way they do that is by targeting two specific emotions, both longing and happiness. So nostalgia, in my opinion, the strongest emotions you can feel are the ones that are conflicting. So love and hate, etc. In the case of nostalgia, why it's so powerful is because you feel sad that something's no longer happening, but you're happy of the memory.
Right,
which is why it's such a strong, emotion. So they try to target the kind of kid sort of memories that most adults have, like playing with toys and stuff like that, but like the very specific ones. So that's why a lot of adults are watching it, is because it's like, oh yeah, I remember doing that sort of thing.
Very
so
cool.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Yeah, I watched that too.
it's quite good.
It's very funny, and they've got. The characters are a little bit like slacker type characters, right? But they're buddies, and they've got their friends, and it's really funny.
Oh yeah, Finn goes on adventures to kill monsters and do stuff all the time. The goofy video game stuff you see.
That's awesome. Last show on my list, although I want to add a couple at the end, which are just sort of, you should see them. I won't go into them in depth. But the last show I have on my list is Survivor. It's been on 32 seasons.
Yep.
and it is still just as good, if not better, than when it started. A lot of people will say, oh, I used to watch Survivor. I mean, God, it's got to get old. No, you've got to look at Survivor like sports. You don't watch hockey or football and say, oh, I saw seasons of that in the past. Why do I need to watch anymore? You watch it to see who wins. You watch it to see the game. And that's what Survivor is. It's one of the most amazing psychological games ever created. And the show is just getting better and better. And watch it. It's awesome.
I'm almost surprised it hasn't turned into the Hunger Games yet.
No, that would be cool. But no, Survivor is really good. The last two shows I want to quickly just mention are both British shows. Doctor Who. You got to watch Doctor Who. Doctor Who has been going for well over 50 years now. It's amazing. Who wouldn't want to see a show about somebody who can travel in all of time and space? Amazing.
Rick and Morty. There you go.
Oh, there you go. And the other is Sherlock. They've done 3 seasons of Sherlock,
Are they
plus a
coming back with another
special.
one?
They are confirmed to be coming back with a 4th season. I don't know if that'll be the last season. There's a good chance it might be because the actors Benedict Cumberbatch and Martin Freeman are busy doing a lot of other things.
I like the combination
But,
of those 2 actors together.
Yeah, but the show is incredible. Each season has 3 episodes. They're 90 minutes long each. So basically you get 3 movies every year. Or not every year. It's been longer than every year. But the quality is just amazing.
Oh, yeah.
And then they did it wasn't a Christmas special, it was a New Year's special where they took the characters back and set them back in the original Victorian times.
Yeah.
And that was a really well done episode. So
I'm really a fan of the savant syndrome type shows where they have like the one character who's like super smart in one specific aspect, but he sucks at everything else.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and that's Sherlock right there. So definitely I recommend that as well. I'm sure there's a lot of shows that you're watching out there that we should be watching. Like you were saying, John, there's limited time in your day, so there's a lot of shows that you'll miss. But hey, try and watch some of these shows that we've mentioned. They're well worth it.
Especially mine.